A very good morning and welcome to everyone for the daily news analysis for 10th of January 2025. So today onwards, as I told you, we are going to incorporate some questions as well as map work and UPSC previous year questions for both prelims as well as mains. So let's get started. Now here, just a sec. Seems to be some bug here. Just a sec, guys. Yeah. So first thing first, the motivational quote for the day is work hard in silence, success will make its own noise. Many a times in the UPSC journey, with everyone it happens that we are working in silence, we are working in solitude, and we feel that recognition is not only recognition is missing, but there is on the top of it criticism by our near and dear ones for the delay in the results, for the delay in the success. UPSC success creates its own noise in a manner that nothing can match in India, right? So work hard, keep working hard in patience, even if you are facing criticism, even if you are facing wraths from your own people. This statement, work hard in silence, it applies not only to just reading anything, it applies to preparing in the right manner also for both prelims as well as mains. Even if you are not getting recognition for your answers, for the notes that you are making on a daily basis, keep working, keep slogging it out, and one day noise will be made on its own, right? So let's begin with it. These are the news headlines for the day. As Meta shifts away from professional fact checkers, Indian firms await clarity. PM calls for documenting the history of Indian diaspora. In the light of this particular news clipping, I'm going to tell you the importance of Indian diaspora, how the UPSC has been asking questions in the past. Then third one is, ball is now in the government's court with regard to SC/ST creamy layer. Many of you must be joining me from today onwards. They must not be knowing about the daily news analysis for yesterday, and it is going to continue here for the subsequent days as well. Yesterday we had covered the concept of horizontal reservation versus vertical reservation. Well, there were some questions yesterday that I could not answer. Somebody was suggesting to delineate the topics for prelims and for mains separately. Well guys, this is an artificial dichotomy that has been created by, I would say, coaching industry for its own benefit, that you have to study for prelims separately and for mains separately. If you check out the papers for last 5 to 7 years, especially when the pattern changed in 2011, there is no such difference between prelims preparation as well as mains preparation. I'm going to exemplify what I said through the medium of this particular second topic that we have for the day, Indian diaspora related questions. The questions that were asked in the prelims were rephrased in the same manner, more or less on the identical lines in the mains as well, right? So whenever you are studying, study in an integrated manner. This will be my tip of the day for you guys. Now the fourth news clipping that we have is gold imports data pared down by the government. Earlier, the import data was on the higher side, but the government said that because of the duplication of data due to IceGate portal. What is IceGate portal? We are following this approach of what, when, why, how. In our news analysis, any simple looking word or abbreviation would be in a way explained fully. And the same applies to this clipping also. Sixth generation aero-engine, like sixth generation fighter aircraft we are talking about here, can be developed by India only by tying up with countries like France and other countries which are developing this engine. This is what DRDO chief has said today. We are going to understand all these topics in their entirety. So stay tuned here. India releases compilation of 10,000 human genomes. What is the advantage of genome sequencing for a country like India? All those things we are going to study in today's class. So let's get started with the MCQs for today. Yesterday we studied Sagar very briefly, and that's why this is a very simple looking question, very simple question in fact. Sagar, security and growth for all in the region initiative aligns with which other Indian foreign policy approaches? Aligns with which of the other foreign policy approaches of India? So please answer this. Yesterday I was a little fast, so today I'll be a little slow so that you are able to comprehend everything. My friends from South India, and my friends from northeastern India as well. So please bear with me. Some of them from my North Indian side friends, they may not be able to catch up as fast, so we'll be a little slow. So please answer this question. Make sure that these questions are answered. Then only there will be a two-way road to learning. Otherwise, I'll keep on teaching and you will keep on listening. Make notes. Even if you find something to be tricky, still make notes out of it, because as we proceed along the daily news analysis, you would find that you are able to make sense out of that particular topic, right? Now, second question is this is a little tricky question here. Greater Mail Connectivity Project aims to link which of the following islands? Mail, Lakshadweep and Willingly. Mail and nearby islands of Willingly. Like Willingly, Gulifahalu and Thilafushi. Mail and islands of Gulifalu, Mafushi and Thilafushi. So we are talking about Maldives. Please try to answer these questions. Abhishek, Arpita, Tamil Selvan, right? Please answer these questions, guys. Mail, this Hulhu Mail Island, then Beadu Island. These are the most important islands of Maldives, I would say. Try to have a look at the map, and you would be able to see things for yourself. Don't be the Arjuna of Gita here. You don't have to look at only fish's eye. You have to see other islands also, which are not the answers. Other options also. Try have a look at your map, Atlas map today. At least the Maldives and Lakshadweep area, right? Now, coming to the map work of the day, I'm asking a very simple question here. Which is the island, which is the area here where India has set up its naval base? Anyone, any idea? What is the area here where India has set up its naval base? Okay, around Singapore. What is the area here? What is the name of the place where seaport has been set up by India, which could later on, as per the demand of the challenges, can be converted into a naval base as well, right? The answer will be there at the last. I'll explain this area. What is string of pearls? Everybody knows. What is necklace of diamonds? Many of you must be knowing. I'll still explain for the convenience of others. Now, as Meta shifts away from professional fact checkers, Indian firms await clarity. Now, what is happening here? Let us try and understand at a plain slide here, first of all. See, Facebook is a platform. Let's say this is Facebook, Instagram, or other platforms you can talk about. Okay, so some false fake information is being uploaded onto these platforms. To check that, Government of India on the regulatory side has set up fact check unit. Okay, under PIB, under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. This is the government agency, but the onus is put on these bodies, on these social media platforms, that they have to ensure the hygiene on the platform. They have to make sure that there is no false or fake information proliferating. Nandini, I cannot answer now, but you are very okay. Let's not confuse you also. We'll answer this later on. Okay, stay tuned. Now, social media platforms have to ensure that there is no fake information proliferating on their platform, be it Facebook, Google, anything, Instagram, right, YouTube. They have to take down that information in a time bound manner. Take that fake piece of information out from their social media platform. For these things, they hire agencies like Cambridge Analytica. Okay, Cambridge Analytica or any other agency, for which they link the APIs, active program interface of Cambridge Analytica, the fact check organization that Facebook has hired. For example, fact check unit would be hired by social media organization, social media platform, to ensure hygiene, to ensure that there is no fake information proliferating on the platform. Got it? Now, these fact check organizations have behaved in a partisan manner. Partisan manner means, playing a partisan role towards either BJP or, let's say, towards Donald Trump or the rival candidate. Got it? That is why they have taken down those pieces of information which are against Donald Trump, for example, or which are against Mr. Modi in India, for example, again. No bias whatsoever against or in favor of any political party here. Just trying to explain things. That is why Facebook, Meta, CEO Mark Zuckerberg has now decided that no fact check private organizations would be hired by Facebook going forward. And there would be what would be the alternate to it? That instead of fact check organizations like Cambridge Analytica, they would leave it to the community, to the user community like you and me on Twitter or Facebook to suggest as to what is wrong with the piece of information. Okay, like if I feel that a particular piece of information seems to be fake, I can suggest or I can report it abuse. Okay, report abuse, or I can report it to the platform. So this is the community led model that Facebook is now going to opt for, at least in the US to begin with. Only in the USA, not in India. Now, as the statement here says that as Meta, that is the owner of the Facebook, shifts away from professional fact checkers, Indian firms await clarity from the government. Okay, India's IT rules do not address this point, whether they can, whether the Facebook like platforms in India, whether they can follow the community led model of regulation of taking down the fake information or not. Okay, clear? So this is what this news clipping is saying. More in the details here. India's fact checking organizations, private organizations we are reading here, it has got nothing to do with Government of India's fact checking unit. Please bear in mind, it has nothing to do with this. Fact check organizations are the private entities which are hired by platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X now to take down the information, to suggest that this account seems to be fake or this account seems to be pursuing the BJP's agenda or Congress's agenda. Got it? Now, India's fact-checking organizations are on their tenterhooks as they await the consequences of Facebook's or Meta's decision to abandon its partnership with professional fact-checking organizations in favor of a community-led model. Now, my question to you is, what is your viewpoint? Do you think that India should also allow the community-led model for Facebook and other social media platforms to sanitize or to hygienize them, to get them rid of, to help them get rid of the fake information? That is the point here. Got it? If that is going to be the point, now the problem with this is we see a lot of trolling. Okay, if I, as the, let's say, the chairperson of any political party, deploy 1000 people to report abuse the channel of my rival political party, in a way how the trolling is done below the videos of some news anchors, YouTube videos of Ravish Kumar and others, I hope you guys are able to correlate, right? If that thing is going to happen, so that community led model would be hijacked by trollers. This is not mentioned in the clipping here. I'm just trying to explain it from my side. Got it, guys? Now, let me just have a sip of coffee here. Clear? Now, the fact-checking unit in the US, this decision of Meta, Facebook, will be applicable only to the US, where the recent elections of Donald Trump as president has driven an ideological reorientation among big tech firms. Ideological reorientation. Experts highlighted that there were concrete reasons that led to introduction of fact checking on social media platforms. What were the reasons? Cambridge Analytica happened because of Facebook. Okay, because of Facebook, because Cambridge Analytica was accused of aligning with Congress in India, Congress political party in India. Now, that is why Mark Zuckerberg says that we are going to follow a community-led model of reporting some information as misinformation or disinformation. We are going to see the difference also. What is the difference between misinformation or disinformation? This is the question I would put to somebody who's appearing for interview in these days, especially when this news clipping has come. Got it? Now, this is taken care of. Social media firms shaping opinions. There was also the scrutiny of firms' role in shaping opinions leading up to Brexit. Now, social media platforms play such a big role, especially when the formal means of asserting ourselves as the civilians or sovereigns in democracy are absent in India. In Britain also, in United Kingdom also, they were skewing the information against Brexit. Okay, United Kingdom's decision to leave European Union was being shaped by social media, by rigging, by favoring the opinion. Social media platforms should behave neutrally, but that hasn't been the case, right? Now, fact checkers were brought in to counter this phenomena of social media platforms behaving in one way or the other. Why switching to now? Why switching to community-led fact-checking model? Why now? Mr. Trump's election and divisive rhetoric, the hype that he's created around the fact-checking in the US, which drew criticism during COVID-19 also. Okay, where the accounts were being taken down for flagging the risk of COVID. So these kind of examples led Facebook to shift to or think of shifting to community-led model. Got it? Now let's move to the next part. Indian scenario, fact check unit, safe harbor clause. Recently, government had accused some social media platforms that they are responsible for not taking down the information and hence they would be held liable. For example, if some person X uploads, okay, not X, person AB uploads something on Facebook, then Facebook is protected because of safe harbor clause, because Facebook resorts to the fact that it is the user who has uploaded this information, not the Facebook itself. Facebook's duty is to take down that information at the request of the government within 24 hours, at the request of the fact check unit created under PIB, created under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Now, if the safe harbor clause is diluted, then Facebook will be held liable for any piece of information, fake or real, uploaded on the Facebook. Understood the meaning of fake harbor clause? Fake harbor clause is saying that any social media entity will not be held liable for anything uploaded onto it by the end user. The only duty of the social media platform is to take down the information if it finds the information to be fake or disinformation or maligning somebody's image. Okay, so that kind of responsibility. If safe harbor clause is diluted, then it will lead to social media entity being directly held liable for anything that is uploaded onto it. Okay, now what Indian government did in the recent case is that it held the social media platform liable directly for anything uploaded on the social media platform. Okay, now the Supreme Court had stayed the notification of a fact check unit of the Press Information Bureau from having the power to flag posts. Now, fact check unit itself cannot flag any post as fake or real for the social media platform to take down. If I am the owner of, let's say, Facebook, I am being told by fact check unit that this information we are flagging, fact check unit is flagging this information as fake. Please check it and take it down. Supreme Court says that fact check unit cannot tell Facebook to take down any information. Got it? Fact check unit can only come into picture when some complaint comes to it, not suo moto, not directly. Got it? This is recently this happened in one of the cases. Got it, guys? Now, Mark Zuckerberg, Meta ends fact-checking program in favor of community notes model. Community notes model is anybody from the community will tell that this information is fake or real, and they would report the information as abuse, report it as something bad in taste or something misinformation is element of misinformation is there. Okay. Now, responsibility for fact-checking, oversight committee, this is the government side of it. How the government in India is trying to regulate it. This is something that we will deal with at a later point whenever the piece of information, whenever some news clipping would warrant its, this thing, right? A conversation, the discussion on this. Now, moving further, Prime Minister calls for documenting the history of Indian diaspora. Let us first of all have a look at the previous year questions that have been asked by UPSC in the recent past. 2023, 2017, 2020 also, and then 2017 also. Have a look here. See how in-depth UPSC is going. Earlier, the questions used to be quite general. Highlight the importance of Indian diaspora for the entire world. Okay. Now, the questions are being specific that India has the largest diaspora in the world. Agreed, sir. According to the World Migration Report 2022, this diaspora serves as an essential communication channel and strategic tool to advance India's foreign policy, You see, what is the news clipping telling us here? We are having Indians in the strategic positions in the world. Let's say Rishi Sunak, okay, Satya Nadella, CEO of a big tech firm. Rishi Sunak, CEO, the Prime Minister of Britain, right? So we are having Indians not only contributing to India's economy only in one way, that is foreign remittances. Until recently, we have only been focused on foreign remittances by Indians. Now have a look here. The question, the answer, the introduction that I've written here to this question, it says that India has the largest diaspora in the world, and this diaspora is serving us in a way that it is helping us, helping India advance the Indian strategic interest in the foreign country. Let's say what is happening in Canada. That is something bad for India. Okay, but whenever Prime Minister happens to visit Australia or the US, Indian diaspora welcomes Indian government, Indian Ministry of External Affairs. It mobilizes the Indian diaspora so as to showcase to the US president that yes, we are in good numbers in the US as well. Many of Indians have made it to the governors of the states of USA. As I said, in Britain, the Prime Minister itself happens, the Britain Prime Minister itself happens to be an Indian, right? So that is why Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, every year that happens in the month of January, we celebrate the contributions of Indian diaspora. And every year, every second, third year, this question has reoccurred in the papers. Now here see, Indian diaspora has a decisive role to play in the politics and economy of American and European countries. Western world, see the other question, 2017, Indian diaspora has an important role to play in Southeast Asian countries, economy and society. Here, politics and economy of America and European countries, 2020. Here, society and economy. You have to be very particular while reading these type of questions that whether society is being asked or economy or politics is being asked. Okay, so that is how you need to decode the question in your mind first before setting out to attempt the question. Many people are in a rush to start attempting the question. Economy and society, economy and polity. Polity, in the American polity, Indians are contributing. As I said, that many of Indians are governors to various states of America out of 50 states, right? 2 3 states, any time, any given point of time. So this is there. Now top countries, on this eve of Indian Pravasi Bharati Divas being celebrated, we can go through the contribution, we can go through the World Migration Report. According to a recent report, India has emerged as the largest recipient of remittances, receiving upwards of $80 billion. This is a rare occurrence. No country has ever surpassed $80 billion plus. India has happened to be the first country. Now, India has surpassed its previous record of $79 billion. This time, 2022, sorry, it was $83 billion. Remittances by foreigners, by NRIs to India, back to India. Okay. So, now my question to you is whether the remittances by Indians back to their country would be considered as FDI or FII, foreign direct investment or foreign institutional investment. Remittances would be considered what? Please answer. This topic, GS Mains Paper 1. This topic caters to your GS Mains Paper 1 and GS Mains Paper 3, right? Topic relevance, today it hasn't been mentioned. PDF you will get from the link shared in the pinned comment of this YouTube stream. Okay, pinned comment, check out the pinned comment. Soon a Telegram channel would be created for me to share the relevant inputs for the current affairs or whatever official channel PW is having. It will be shared over there. Now moving on to the other aspects of the news clipping here. Top countries receiving remittances. 2015 India. Okay, 2018 India. Increase over 3 years 14%, right? China has been the second one, Mexico the third one. All right, so 2015, 18 and even 23 till 2022 we have been at the top. Okay, FII, FDI, everybody else please answer. Guys, learning is a two-way road. If learning happens to be a one-way road, still there will be an accident. You understand my point? Two-way road, the chances of accidents are high, but when it comes to learning, the chances of accident in the form of failure are less when learning is a two-way road. You understand what is a two-way road? The traffic is without any divider. Traffic is moving on both the sides. Haphazard driving will be there. But if you guys are not answering, if you guys are not responding to what I am saying, if you guys are not making notes of what I am teaching here, the chances of casualty are very high. Those who are scholars would have understood my point. Now, is India open to the idea of dual citizenship? So this is an editorial. We have to see for another few days whether I am able to do justice with all the news articles in a time-bound manner. If it leaves us with some scope of time in the for us to deal with the editorials, then we will deal with the editorials. Okay. So now I'm just giving you a glimpse of it. When Pravasi Bharati Divas is being celebrated, are we supposed to confine ourselves to only the news of it, only the news aspect of it, or should we look at the larger issue? UPSC never asks you what happened in the news. If it happens to be an issue, that is being asked in the examination. Through the medium of these current affairs classes, my endeavor would be to help you understand what is the requirement of the exam here. Don't confine yourself, don't bother yourself with every piece of information, every piece of news. See if that translates into an issue, if that translates into a phenomena. And if it translates into a phenomena, what are the related issues to it? Related issues means dual citizenship, foreign remittances, contribution of Indian diaspora to South Africa, to Southeast Asia. Got it? Please try to understand. Every news may not translate into a UPSC question. There could be an element of information to it, but you have to look for the larger issues. Now, how to find issues, sir? How to find out whether a news or whether a news phenomena translates into an issue? It will translate into an issue. Let's say rule of thumb is if the news continues for 5 to 6 days, for 5 to 7 days, or if the news of passage of the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Indra Kumar Gujral, whether Gujral sir had given any doctrine, Gujral doctrine. Okay, PM Manmohan Singh, LPG reforms 1992. Can there be a question on LPG reforms 2.0? Second version of it? Yes, it's been 3 decades. India brought about first generation reforms, LPG reforms. Now is the time for second generation reforms. Yes, sir. What would be the elements of second generation reforms? Labor reforms, FDI, the full capital account convertibility in economics, right? So this is how you have to look at larger issues. If MS Swaminathan sir passes away, that becomes a matter of concern for UPSC. He was the man behind Green Revolution. Green Revolution 2.0. Got my point? These tips I'll keep on giving across, sharing across to you through the medium of these news articles for 1 or 2 minutes. They might bother some of you, but they are going to be of huge relevance when you want to see the picture yourself. Right now, you are seeing the picture through my eyes, whatever I'm teaching you. But in order for you to be empowered, I have to do this. Southeast Asian countries, how they are. We will deal with it. Some editorial will be there. Okay. Dheeraj, I'll come to that topic whenever the context would warrant through the medium of some news article. Now, apply your mind to it. I'll deal with this topic in the coming days. Dual citizenship, what is it? How is it relevant to India? Likewise. Supreme Court said that now this news clipping is the fourth one for the day. In fact, ball is now in the government's court on SC/ST creamy layer. Okay, now the Supreme Court is saying what happened. Let me give you the context of background of it. In August 2024, when CJI Chandrachud sir was the CJI of India, they had given a judgment, a 7-judge constitution bench had given a judgment on Article 341, Clause 1, 341, Clause 2 on the reservation for SCs and STs. Now, reservation for SCs and STs is granted on the basis of presidential order. President of India passes an order on the basis of aid and advice given to it by the Council of Ministers. That order, can that order of President of India be subject to creamy layer aspect? What is the creamy layer? Let's see, this is the glass of the milk. Okay. The topmost layer of out of SCs and STs, they bag all the reservations. With due respect to the MENA community, Meena in Rajasthan, they are dominant, okay? I mean, predominantly in Rajasthan, with due respect to the community. They are animal lovers, environment lovers. I'm not denigrating any institution or any community or caste over here. So there is a village in the Rajasthan, in the Udaipur district, about which it is said that when there is a marriage in that village of ST dominated Meena community village, okay, there is no need of lights. There is no need of any focus light because the red beacon lights are enough. The red beacon cars, their jalwa, their lights are enough for that wedding to happen, for each other to see each other, everyone else to see, right? So the point is, some sections of a particular ST community, they are able to grab all the reserved slots for STs. Same happens with SCs also. The benefits of reservation are not able to percolate down to the lowest of the lowest. That is why the need for creamy layer. Agreed, sir? Need for creamy layer happens because this has to happen. This has to percolate down. The benefits have to go down as well. That is why sub-classification has to be there. That is what the Supreme Court 7-judge bench said in its August 2024 judgment. Okay, now let's go through the technicality of it. Let's go through the political aspect of it. Article 341. Okay, what was at stake in that 2024 judgment? 7-judge constitution bench was arguing upon or was discussing about the constitutionality of Tamil Nadu reservation and Punjab reservations. Okay. Now, Chief Justice Chandrachud traced the power of the state to subclassify. Question before the Supreme Court was whether under Article 341, can the government classify, subclassify SCs into heterogeneous sections, or it should be looked upon as a homogeneous group. Can you say that SCs are homogeneous? Are they all a homogeneous entity? No. Some of them are, with due respect, some of them are sweepers, some of them are gardeners, drivers, right? They have been working at the lower rungs of our society. So can you club them up, club all of them in the same bracket? No. That is why the need for subclassification. But this is the moral side of it. This is the fundamental side of it. What is the technical side of it? Whether the constitution allows us to do the same or not. Because everything in the society happens as per the constitution. Because we are an Indian polity, we have given ourselves the constitution. For anything to happen, it has to be legally allowed. Now, Chief Justice said that the power of the state to subclassify the scheduled caste for the purposes of positive action, affirmative action, including reservations to Article 15, Clause 4, prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion. Okay, 15, Clause 4. Somebody said, with due respect again, that you are a sweeper. That is what? That is subjecting somebody to prejudice. Or yesterday, as we saw, that atrocities are being meted out to SCs or transgenders when we were dealing with horizontal or vertical reservation. Anybody who hasn't yet watched the yesterday's DNA daily current affairs, they can. So this is there. Okay, Article 15, Clause 4, prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, and 16, Clause 5, equal opportunity in public employment. For conferring the equal opportunities in public employment, we need to divide the sections of SCs and STs into subclasses, because each one of them is not subject to the same level of prejudice. Got it? Same level of atrocities. Somebody is subject to the higher gravity or lower gravity. These is the stream dropping or what? Is there a signal issue? Something is happening because, or is there a lag in the stream? Anybody please comment. Somebody please let us know here. Okay, so these things are there. The Chief Justice argued that the scheduled castes did not form an invisible monolith. Can't we see the differences in the differences amongst the SCs? We can very well see the visibility in the differences of atrocities. Okay, so this is there. So the scheduled caste notified by the president under Article 341 of the Constitution had a heterogeneous groups of castes. They are not a single caste. They are not a single monolithic entity. Got it? So that is the point here. The Chief Justice agreed that scheduled castes did not form an indivisible monolith. Scheduled caste notified by the President under Article 341, Clause 1. Please take a note of Article 341. Gradually, you will see the picture will be a holistic one. You would see that a lot of articles you would memorize only and only at the because of the daily current affairs that we are seeing. And what UPSC is checking in the polity section is not just the prima facie, the superficial knowledge of an article. They are going into in-depth thing. You would see one or two questions in the state PSC around this in-depth understanding of Article 341. Why do I have to reiterate? Because many of you feel that superficial knowledge is enough. No, this is not a one-day exam, guys. You are being tested for being hired for the top echelons of the government. Okay, so have that clarity so that whenever the situation requires, you should be able to not only answer in prelims or mains, but interview, right? So they are a heterogeneous group of castes, races or tribes with varying degrees of backwardness. So this varying degree of backwardness warrants varying degree of positive treatment, varying degree of affirmative action. Their inclusion in the president's list by the parliament under Article 341 Clause 2 did not mean that they were a uniform and internally homogeneous unit, incapable of further subclassification. They are capable of further subclassification. That is why now what will happen? As we see for OBCs, 27% reservation is so divided, circles within circles are there, right? Subclassification has led to creamy layer for OBC. In Indira Sahane judgment, Supreme Court left it to the government. But in M. Nagaraja case here, let me reiterate these cases. M. Nagaraja case 2006, Supreme Court said that quota benefits should go to the weakest of the weak and not be snatched away by the members of the class who are in the top creamy layer. Right? So there is a term in the public administration optional which is called as precariat charter. Precariat charter 2015 UPSC mains question also. Why am I talking about PubAd here? Because some of the previous year questions of public administration are being ditto or are being modified into the GS mains paper 2 questions, polity and governance. So when we say that precariat charter, when you see some protest happening, protests by labor union, by others, what happens is the agenda of the meeting is hijacked by those in the front of that protest. Okay, actually they are representing the needs of, they are camouflaging as presenting the needs of those in the, those at the back, but they hijack the agenda and they present their demands and hijack it. Example, separatist leaders of Jammu and Kashmir, their own kids are studying in US, in the US. The kids of separatist leaders, Algawwadi as we call them in Hindi, their children, their chaps are studying in the US. Aung San Suu Kyi, Myanmar, her own kids are studying in the US, but here she is protesting for the rights of the backward. Sheikh Hasina, same happened, more or less the same happened. So try and understand, this precariat charter means the charter of those people who actually represent the cause. Trade union leaders, they take money from the factory owner and they say that the protest is being withdrawn. But the actual laborers, they suffer. That is why these actual laborers, these actual SCs, scheduled castes, these actual the people who face the atrocities, they are coming to the forefront of the movement, making their own charter. That charter is called precariat charter. Got it? A new term I have given you. This kind of a glossary is relevant for your mains examination for your better understanding. Precariat charter, this is the meaning of it. Got it? Now, the subclassification of SCs would lead to precariats coming to the forefront of the movement of SC's empowerment. Clear? Now, glitches in the, now let me simplify it. Reservation is given for Yadavs in the UP with due respect, but the main benefit of political empowerment of Yadavs is being snatched away by just one family. Got it? Just one family, Shivpal Yadav, Rajpal Yadav, I mean, with due, not Rajpal Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav, I mean, Rajpal is better than Akhilesh. Just on a funny note, right? So what I'm trying to say is only one family is snatching away the benefits of political empowerment of OBCs. Same happens in Bihar also. Lalu Prasad Yadav, his two sons, and even the wife, even though she is not that well read, etc., etc. So, glitches in the efforts. Business gold imports data pared down by the government. Yesterday, a news clipping had come, which said that India's gold imports have shot up by a gigantic leap. Now, today, the government has debunked it. Government said that because the gold imports data is being migrated to ICE Gate. What is ICE Gate, sir? We will understand that also. Okay, ICE Gate system. This thing is not visible here. See this ICE Gate. Okay, visible this also. ICE Gate is the government's portal where all the export import data is uploaded. Now the import data of gold from special economic zones is also being migrated to ICE Gate computer system. See, any import happening to UAE, chemicals, any import of gold, and any import of SEZs earlier which was not being uploaded is now being uploaded on the ICE Gate. ICE Gate is the portal of Customs Department. Government has said that because of the migration not being complete yet, you can say duplication of data has happened. The data which was previously being uploaded only on the SEZ portal has now been uploaded to ICE Gate. Plus, these two data sets have been added, leading to prima facie leading to a situation where gold imports seem to be higher than what they actually are. This is what the government has said. But analysts say that government is trying to suppress the actual gold imports data. Got it? Indian Customs Electronic Gateway. Why are we studying this? Even though this is a very simple looking news clipping, remember there was a news about GEM portal, Government E-Marketplace portal, where from the government will procure the goods for government departments, so as to bring down the phenomena of corruption in the purchases by the government. Just GEM portal was a very simple looking news in 2017-18, but twice over the question has been asked on it. Now that this ICE Gate has come in news because of whatever be the reason, okay, now this becomes important that gold googly bamboozles import data. India's overall import bill for the first 8 months of 2024-2025 reckoned to have grown 8.35% at 486. But now that the government has clarified, or now that the government has come up with a legitimate excuse that why the import data has shot up so much, they are saying that gold data has now come, the import data has now come down to 472 billion, $0.5 billion for this year. Got it? So this is there. DGCIS data, this customs import system data, right? The dramatic revisions alarm economists, and one calls it a statistical harakiri, statistical heraferi, you can say, or statistical embezzlement. Got it? Government is trying to suppress the data though, but it has given a legitimate reason. While in government, when you would be the commerce secretary, you would have to justify these kind of let's say the mistakes or lapses on the part of the government in this way. Got it? Now, this is there. India has completed and made available a year-long compilation of 10,000 human genomes. This is the last news article, second last news article of the day. Compilation of 10,000 human genomes. First of all, what is the advantage of genome sequencing for India, or for that matter for any other country? I have dealt with this news article in a very, very detailed manner. That is why I said that easily, if you are following this news analysis in a detailed manner, making the notes out of it, you would be able to see around 30-35 questions clicking from the news clippings itself, news articles itself. Got it? So, whole genome sequencing process, as I said, whenever this type of good news or major news clipping comes up, you have to see what, when, why, how. Okay, how the process of genome sequencing, we will come to this later on. Benefits of genome sequencing. Why do we need it? Why of it? Enable the treatments for genetic diseases. Genome sequencing is useful in prenatal screening to identify the genetic disorders. I'll give you a very simple example over here. For example, why is it said that if somebody's parents were diabetic, there are high chances that the children would also be diabetic around 35, 40, 45. Why? Because of the genome sequencing technique only, because of the genome sequencing as we are talking. Okay, prenatal screening ho gaya, liquid biopsies to diagnose cancer early. If somebody had faced cancer, their offsprings are also likely to face the same. Okay, so defect in the gene would lead to this thing. Then pharmacogenetics, study of how genes affect a person's response to drugs. Precision in pharmaceutical industry. This is correlated to this. When the drugs are pinpointedly given to a person, treated upon while the person is being treated upon, so that precision leads to lesser instances of drug resistance in the population. Okay, because if you have that genome sequencing, you can cater to this thing, right? Right, development of predictive diagnostics. So what is the term that we use for this? Predictive diagnostics, prediction of the disease that might happen to a person, and personalized healthcare. Through customized drugs and gene therapies based on genome sequencing, we can have predictive diagnostics, facilitate advanced analytics and artificial intelligence integration to enhance the understanding of genetic causative factors and develop disease treatment. So these are the benefits of genome sequencing. Now, how the genome sequencing data is compiled. There is a term called alleles in genes. What are alleles? They are alleles, different forms of the same genes. Like you see small d here, there is capital D. Genome occupying its locus or position, number one, occupying its position, this is genome. But alleles happens when different forms of the same gene are found. This is called as heterogeneous or homozygous. The opposite is called as homozygous. If same F is there at this locus at the alleles, are homozygous, double F, similar, identical, right? But if one is small d, like if there is heterogeneity, then this would be called as alleles. Alleles, an allele is one or two or more versions of DNA sequence, a single base or a segment of bases at a given genomic location. An individual inherits two alleles, one from each parent, mother and father, for any given genomic location where such variation exists. If the two alleles are the same, individual is homozygous for that allele. If two are not same, then the individual is heterozygous. Okay, since India has completed this genome sequencing for 10,000 genomes, these terms alleles, homozygous, heterozygous, they become important. Yeah. Okay, so you see this small, big, small, this is thinner, right? So heterozygous, homozygous, these terms, alleles in genes, what are they? You should be knowing that. They occur in pairs basically, right? So these are some of the terms I would say which are relevant, which are in the context of this genome sequencing. Now, certain population groups show higher frequencies of alleles. This is the word that was given in clipping. My duty as analyst or my duty as somebody who's helping you to prepare for civil services, I should have decoded them. So I've done my job here. Whenever something else happens, editorials, etc. come up, I'll be decoding the other terms related to it. Our first analysis of genomes estimates around 27 million low frequency. What do we mean by low frequency variants or relatively rare variants, with 7 million of them not found in similar reference database around the world? So there is a genome library, you can say, where we find the genomes to be there from across the populace of the world. There are 7 low frequency. Initial stages, in the initial stages of genome sequencing of any country, genome sequencing program of any country, what should be the guiding factor? High frequency genomes, high frequency variants should be decoded first, because high frequency variants means the genomes of that population which occurs in large number, so that we can make the medicines, we can make the precise drugs to cater to that population. Got it? So genome rare, this diversity signifies the genome diversity, tells us about the what to say, the less vulnerability of the set of the population to a disease or pandemic. Got it? If we are having varied number of genes, then what happens? We will not be vulnerable as a population to a particular COVID variant. Got it? So that is why. Now, Got it? So this is there. Now the process of it, please go through it, download the PDF. There are 6 steps to it. The text is very, very small in size. I may not be able to, you may not be able to read it. Yeah, PDF will be provided, Vaishnavi. Check the pinned comment. And I request, can I make a simple request to all of you? This DNA, the daily current affairs, starts at around what time? 8 a.m. in the morning. I happen to be on time always because of the reason that it has recently started. There are some teething problems which might occur for another 2-3 days. Maybe probably from Monday onwards we will be hitting the live stream at around 7:59 a.m. I'll wait for 1 minute for you guys to join in, and then we'll start it at 8 sharp in the morning. Okay, some questions, some Telegram channel medium would be created so that I can share these things with you. Whatever clippings, etc., extra pieces of information are there, we can share it through the mode of some Telegram channel or other media that the backend team would create. Okay, so please be regular. Please don't hesitate to make notes. Initially, it will take you some time. You might end up spending not my Telegram. They would create some official Telegram ID. Okay, so as to for to enable me to share the information. Got it, guys? So this is there. Now, sixth generation aero-engine fighter jet that we are planning to compete with the rivals like China, etc. Okay, can be developed by tying up with the foreign firms. DRDO chief has said this, that this is the development of sixth generation fighter aircraft is possible only and only if we collaborate with some other country like France. Why? Because he says that for India to develop the sixth generation fighter craft on its own, we need to allocate 15% of our budget to DRDO, to research. But at present, we are allocating less than 5%, right? So there are few catchy terms which we need to understand here also, as we call them decoding. Okay, we need to decode those terms which are likely to be asked in the prelims examination. So we will see that also. Now, budget constraint. India currently invests only 5% of its defense budget, not the budget overall, defense budget, on the research and development, which needs to be increased to 15%. Even though the defense budget overall is increasing, but the research share of the defense budget happens to be around 5%. Whereas you see the budgets of China, $500 million budget for defense alone, right? Our defense budget is low as compared to China and US and other developed countries. Okay, but to realize that capability, he said the country will have to invest close to $4 billion. 4 billion means roughly 35,000 crore rupees, right? To 5 billion, that's 40,000 to 50,000 crore rupees. His remarks come against the backdrop of huge delays in the development of indigenous fighter jets, while China has made rapid progress in this area. Indigenous fighter jets, you talk about submarines, China is way ahead of us, right? 773 submarines China is having. We are having a fleet of 5 to 7 submarines only. For that also, we are collaborating with France. And here also, he is suggesting that we need to collaborate with France and other developed countries for co-development of 110 kN engine for the fifth generation jet. Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, AMCA, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, that is on the drawing board and at least a decade away from the rollout of a prototype. Even the rolling out of the prototype would take around 10 years. With regard to France, there are some critical issues that need to be addressed for this collaboration, for this co-development exercise to kick in. See here, the decision for co-development of a new engine was announced during PM Modi's visit to France in 2023. Paris in 2023. Since then, the discussions have been going on between DRDO's Aeronautical Development Agency, ADA, and Gas Turbine Research, GTRE, and Safran. So this particular information is about this thing. Combat System of Systems, manufacturer Dassault Aviation, Airbus, Indra Systems, Safran. These are going to be the manufacturers of sixth generation fighter aircraft for France. We are trying to collaborate with them. Now, what is KN here? Kilonewtons. Why 110 kilonewtons? Why not 100? Why are we being so specific about it? Okay, see here, the more the number of kilonewtons, the more the thrust of the engine to weight ratio. Thrust to weight ratio is the guiding factor here. Okay. if the thrust of the engine is much more than the weight, that translates to better kilonewtons. Okay. So the power of the super cruise capability as well as to support the aircraft's radar and avionics system. Now, adaptability to harsh conditions. Since India's hot and humid climate poses a significant challenge for the fighter jet engines, often resulting in loss of power. So, why 110 kilonewtons are required? To have better thrust for the engine to survive the Indian climatic conditions, right? So, this is there. Other countries, this PDF will provide you the information about what other countries are developing, what China is doing, what USA is doing. So, you can download the PDF and read a bit of more information. Got it? Now, this is there. Coming to the last part, the map study. Somebody answered Changi Sea Base. Changi, is it a naval base or is it a sea base? See, here it is. Changi Naval Base, Strait of Malacca, right? This is an important choke point. What is choke points theory? See, guys, any country which has become the superpower, the USA, they had control over all the important choke points, Persian Gulf, whatever be the reason, right? Gulf of Aden. Now, India and China are competing to have their control over these important choke points. The more the number of choke points in control of a country, the more are the chances of that country becoming a superpower, because these are international, these are important sea lines of communication. Okay, important sea lines of communication, and one of them is South China Sea, Spratly Islands dispute. You must have heard about it. So we are going to study them in detail in some later lecture, whenever the context would warrant, whenever some news clipping would happen, would appear in the newspaper. Okay, Strait of Malacca is there, Indonesia. Another development is happening over here as well. I had made a YouTube short on it. Uh, my previous stint as a teacher at JVs, right? So that I'll make over here also. Much more, many more shorts are in the offing. We will be coming up with more such tidbits of information for you guys to learn more about maps, about international political happenings in the coming days. Important sea lines of communication. These are being controlled by China, US, India, Australia, Japan, every country. So now the race is between India and China to control the important sea lines of communication around the length and breadth of Indian Ocean region. That was all in today's daily news analysis. I would expect all of you to answer all the questions. Go through the Wikipedia, Google it out. I have asked just 2 questions. If you want me to ask more questions, please comment below. If you want me to ask around 5 to 10 questions every day, please answer all the questions. Secondly, most importantly, if you want the DNA to exceed above 1 hour, but we should cover 2 or 3 important editorials, that also please mention, please give your viewpoint in the comment section, so that we can take a cue from what the audience is expecting, right? This was all, guys. It was a pleasure teaching you. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.